whenever you sign up for some type of vertical program, a lot of times you're working with percentages,
Hmm.
right? But we've been working with our percentages, but for me, it was tough for me to find what I thought my one rep max was. So, do you have any advice on how someone like me would find that? Someone who thinks they're athletic, they think they have a very solid foundation, but all of a sudden the mobility isn't quite there, and now that changes your one rep max idea. So, how do you suggest finding that without
Um,
actually doing it? Because to be honest, I wouldn't feel safe doing one rep
yeah,
max.
it's an excellent point to say that. It, why would I attempt to work at a percentage and lift as heavy as I can when I know that I might not be in a good range? So here's how you start finding your one rep max. Number one, you can put a bar on your back or you can go body weight, right? And if you don't know how deep is deep enough, that's okay. Find something, a low bench, a chair is probably a little bit too high, maybe a medicine ball that you can sit on so that your butt definitely gets under your knees, right? And if you look sideways at the point where it stops, where your low back starts to curve, your mobility cannot get you deeper than that, right? So that's the one thing. You shouldn't go deeper than that until you've increased that range. Now, it's okay for your body to go that deep because that means that your spine is still straight, you're still holding yourself kind of sturdy, and that's your limit. Whatever height that is, that's going to be your limit, and you say, okay, this is my one rep max basically at this depth. And if you can do that depth safely, then we're going to do that while increasing your range, or it's okay to do that while increasing your range, because you can increase strength and range at the same time, but there has to be focus on it. Like once you lose that edge, so if you start, let's say that I can put 135 on my back and I can sit on my 12-pound medicine ball, I could get my butt that low. Now, if I put 155 on my back and all of a sudden when I'm that low, like I see my low back is starting to curl out, or I'm not comfortable getting that low with that weight, I cannot increase that weight. There's absolutely no way. That's the line that I need to be working at. And if you go ahead and you can Google this, we also have this, we give it to our players in the 60-day max vertical program, but there's a one rep max percentage chart that everybody should know that you have a percentage of your one rep maximum that is going to coordinate with reps and sets, the number of reps and sets that you do. And that's how you can judge what you're telling your body to do. For example, when you're working at like 65 to 75% of your one rep maximum, usually you're doing somewhere between 10 and 15 repetitions, okay, in that range. But when you're doing 10 to 15 repetitions, you're probably doing anywhere from 2 to 4 sets. And what you're working on at that point is hypertrophy. In other words, growing your muscles, making them bigger. Bigger muscles don't always mean fast muscles. That doesn't mean that you can jump higher, right? But it will shape them. And when you increase the size of the muscle fibers, then you have more potential to develop actual strength and actual speed. So to go back to the title, which is quick fixes,
Mhm.
find an obstacle so that your butt is underneath your hips. And if you can keep it straight that long, good. Then that's where you can, that's your comfortable range of operation where you're not going to get hurt. Of course, we do want to be able to get your thighs to be touching your calves, right? That's like full depth, full athleticism. If you can't get your thighs to touch your calves, then we're not really getting as deep as we can. And so this whole like everybody reaching their butt back and pushing their butt back, which makes the top of their shoulders fall forward while there's weight on it. That was it's a decent cue for some athletes, but it's not a great cue for a lot. Instead, a slight starting starting the movement by pushing your hips back and then dropping straight down is a better cue for people to have. But if people keep reaching their butts backwards while they're doing squats, they're going to continue to get less range of motion and they're going to put a hell of a strain on their low back because you're holding that all up now with your low back.